Hi there, guys. I don't know why I cut this grass and maybe being out here with nature just made me a little deeper with that, but I just started making this little quick cheap video. She just wants to be cute because she's cute, okay? That's my baby. That's my baby, okay? I don't know why I'm here. Anyway, she's here for more support, but lately I'm being like on a self healing journey and reflecting a lot and like just really thinking deeply like about relationships, like how the world right now is a hot mess. And I keep seeing all these videos on social medias about um a lot of people being happily single, and I can definitely attest to that. I feel the same way. However, I honestly feel like I wanted to dig deeper on like why we ended up in these some horrible relationships, right? Why did we ended up with toxic partners? And sometimes some people they're the toxic ones, but that's another story. But that's why doing your healing work and learning who you are is so important so you can see the traits you need to work on because no one's perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. So I wanted to like dig deep and figure out what I did wrong, what I need to work on, and also what I don't need to tolerate anymore. Okay. So what do you think, Miss Ariana? Just say yes. Yes, yeah, proof. Yes. But honestly, this is the part that I really want to focus on. It's the fact that like we end up in these relationships because we have been programmed, we have been brainwashed, okay? Literally. Yeah, guys. Through the media, through what we watch. We are so in love with romantic love, with romance than actual like real love, right? Because the Bible, God already tells us what real love is. But then you watch these movies, you grow up watching these telenovelas if you're Hispanic, okay? Very toxic, very dramatic. And then you, oh Lord. Anyways, yes, all toxic. Absolutely. It all has some slaps in it. When you heal, you notice how a lot of these things are like absolutely horrible. Like I used to love shows like Love Is Blind, and I'm like, oh, that's just women literally begging to be loved. Like they have successful women, beautiful women, just begging to be loved like this not so amazing guys, to be honest. And he's like, oh, now it just bothers me. And I used to love the show. Then I watched Love Island, and I'm like, what the heck? I used to watch that. It's more like Lust Island. Like it's so sickening how, I mean, like sexualized it is. It's just very lustful, and we have normalized that, right? Like romance is not attraction only, and so we just focus on the wrong things. That's how we end up with the wrong person. Okay, that was never what a covenant was supposed to be about. That's why we end up in these situations, and then we want to go to God, blame God. They do help us become a better person. They help us learn, right? However, we have to work on our perspective because you can find a romantic partner. Anybody can be a romantic partner, like a romantic partner. What do? Take you out on dates, buy you flowers. Anybody can do that. So we fall in love with that idea more than the actual person. Like, what does that person really bring to the table? Who? Let me wait for this. Who is that person deep down inside? Okay? Fall in love with that. Not on that day they took you on, not on that beautiful song they dedicated to you. We had to start falling in love with romance and getting to know people for who they are. Okay? Get to know people, maybe make them your friends because honestly, I felt like, yeah, I was so in love with the idea of love than what it actually means, what it actually represents partnership. And now, like, I can't say that I'm fully healed. I feel like that's a process that takes maybe all your life. I don't know. But it's like now I really want partnership. Like I want somebody to hold me accountable. I want to hold them accountable. I want somebody to help me become better. Like I had goals. Like I want somebody to check on me. Like, hey, did you work on that today? Like I have like business ideas. Okay, sometimes I'm like I don't feel like doing anything. Like I need somebody that's like, what did you do today? Really, you were on your phone all day because we be doing that way too much. And so like yeah, I want a real partner, like somebody that helps me become better. Because what is the point, honestly, to like have just a romantic partner? Like anybody can be romantic. Like I can literally go on a romantic date by myself. Like I can literally just take my niece and be like, girl, let's go walk down the lake and with some ice cream. Like that's romantic. Like it doesn't have to be a man. So what I'm saying is like, what do you really want from a relationship? Because sometimes these people come into our life, they take See, like my little baby, he's just cute. He just beats on me, but he's just cute. He provides emotional support every now and then. So this is another toxic relationship I gotta work on. But no, but seriously, like and I feel like we need to talk to our younger children, nieces and nephews, our own children about this stuff because if you really focus on these people be coming up here doing the most, right? But they're having never fun. That serious. But most of these movies, most of these shows, they're brainwashing us to accept the bare minimum, to accept the like lust is love, which is not. And again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm so guilty of that. I learned my lesson the hard way. I say I'm not doing this again. Okay, 13 years, and it's hard to let go, but then you have to look at yourself like, where did I go wrong? And again, that's a learning lesson, right? Like not every relationship is meant to be forever, but we're supposed to learn from them, get better. But some of us don't want to like do the work because it is hard. It is difficult to accept that like you're not perfect and that you have issues. No one wants to do that. But if you really want to attract a healthy person, you really have to do the inner work. You really have to. Sorry, there's no way around it. It's not all about, oh, now I'm gonna go to the beach and now I'm going. Where people be going? I'm just gonna go to the forest and be with nature. Like, yeah, that stuff is definitely great, important. But it takes more than that because if you don't truly dig down and figure out what and how did I end up in a toxic relationship for so long, you're just gonna run right into another one. Okay? So again, what do you really want from a partner? Because once you have that idea, like this is what I want, this is what I will not accept, I promise you it gets easier to walk away from anything and anyone that doesn't look like that. Because again, it's a spiritual world, we have an enemy. So don't you think it's gonna send somebody that represents everything that they look like they represent everything that you want, but deep down, there's something off, but then you want to give it a try. You want to go on dates. Like, no, boo boo, if it's not meeting X, Y, and Z, if it's not looking blue, it's looking green, then there's no time for that. And that's where
I think it looks red.
huh?
I think it looks red.
Okay, yeah, if it looks red, but you want pink, then again, stop making, because we make excuses, right? Like if you were raised a certain way, like I was a little too giving, too forgiving, right? So work on those boundaries. But my point is, we have to work on us. You have to work on the inner work, and it takes like fighting because again, like we can be lustful without knowing how lustful we are. Like I was, okay, and so like after I thought about that, like okay, let me look into what this is. How can I work on that? It's like you have to really deny to your flesh, and that's so difficult. We don't think about these things, right? But I started with fasting, and it's like once you say no to something that you really want, it becomes this. I was like, oh my goodness! Every night I was eating ice cream. Every single night I was eating ice cream before bed, and I was like, girl, it was beautiful. But that's not okay. So I started by like fasting ice cream for a month, fasting social media for a month, and it's like really denying something to your flesh becomes easier. So like you can have the most attractive person right in front of you, but you're like, okay, like that's physical, right? What does the spiritual look like? What does the inside look like? So, but you have to work on you because if you're still toxic on the inside, you're gonna attract toxic. I promise you that. Okay. Nothing more beautiful than being self-aware and being authentic to yourself. Like I know my flaws, and some people are like, "Oh my God, why is she so secure?" I used to be really insecure. I feel like I still am slightly insecure. Insecure. We all will struggle with some of our imperfections. However, I have accepted who I am. I love who I am, thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus. Okay, I accept who I am. I'm working on the parts that I need to work on, and that's it. I just want to help people. Okay.
That's a toxic one. Don't do that one.
Yeah, my cat's a little toxic, but that's my
That's a toxic one.
baby. Okay, but
See?
we still have our boundaries. We're still working on those
If
boundaries.
he ignores you, done.
He doesn't respect any of my boundaries,
Get
but
out.
we're still working on it. And that's
Get
our
out.
message. Okay. Have a
I
great night.
wasn't dancing.
Yeah, you did not just see her through that. Pretend you did.